Okay, so let's talk about something I bet a lot of you have, kicked around, writing a book for your business. It sounds great.
Right.
Put your expertise out there, share your message. But here's the thing we're seeing.
Yeah.
Too many entrepreneurs kind of see it as just, well, a trophy. Or maybe this vague credibility builder.
Like a vanity project almost.
Exactly. And our sources for this deep dive, insights from Unscrewed Marketing and their publishing division, Unscrewed Publishing, led by Vicky Wu. They make it really clear. If that's your starting point, you're probably missing the real potential.
Welcome to your marketing department, where we share the best tips for marketing your small business. And the full link to this topic is down in the description. Be sure to subscribe so that you never miss our latest update.
This isn't just about the romantic idea of writing a book. It's about the hard-nosed strategy behind it.
Okay.
Marketing's whole point is that a book isn't just content. It can be like a real engine for business growth. But, and this is the big but, only if you know exactly how you're going to plug it into your actual business model before you even start writing.
Right. Before word one hits the page. So that's the mission here then, to unpack that strategic why and how.
Exactly. Not just writing any book, but writing the right book and using it the right way so it actually, moves the needle for your business.
Okay. So based on these sources, what's that absolute first step? The critical thing an entrepreneur needs to lock down before they even think about chapter one.
It really all boils down to strategy. Unscrewed Marketing is pretty emphatic on this.
Yeah.
Without a clear plan for how that book serves your specific business goals, it's just so easy for it to turn into this huge time sink.
Right. Consumes resources, doesn't really deliver.
Exactly. You spend time, money, energy, and maybe it looks nice on the shelf, but it doesn't do anything concrete. Those vague goals, like being seen as an expert, they're just not enough. You need actual tactics.
So it's not enough to just hope it helps the business. You need a concrete plan for how it's going to help.
Precisely. The real power, they stress, comes when you integrate the book directly into your business model. You need to know, how is this book going to attract leads for me? How will it boost my conversions? What specific new doors will it open?
That feels like a really,
a
fundamental shift. It's not some side project anymore.
No.
It's a core business asset you're building.
Yeah.
So what are those key strategic questions Unscrewed Marketing says you absolutely must ask up front?
Okay, so they lay out these crucial questions. First, how specifically are you going to use this book in your business?
Use it, okay.
Second, what concrete, measurable outcomes do you want from it? Not just credibility, but, leads, sales, speaking gigs.
Right, tangible results.
And third, and this is a big one, where in your existing client or customer journey does this book actually fit?
Okay, thinking about that customer journey is huge. Like, is this the first thing they see, or something you give a warm lead, or maybe even post-sale?
Exactly. Where does it live in their experience with you? And, Unscrewed Marketing uses this analogy that really kind of hammers it home.
Okay.
Writing a book without that plan, it's like designing and manufacturing a product, but having absolutely no idea how or where you're going to sell it.
Oof. Yeah, okay, that lands. When you put it like that, it sounds obvious, but...
But it's a trap. So many entrepreneurs fall into it because they get excited about the idea of the book itself, the writing part.
Right, the creative impulse takes over the business sense.
Yeah.
That analogy forces you to be tactical. Okay, so let's say you've done that strategic thinking. You've figured out the why and the where. What are the specific ways a book can actually, drive business growth? They list out 7 key areas.
Right. Yeah, 7 specific strategies. Let's dive into those. First up, and this is probably the one people think of most often, establish authority and thought leadership.
Okay, the credibility piece.
Well, yes, but it goes deeper than just looking credible. A book instantly elevates how people see you. It really positions you as the expert.
More so than, say, a blog.
Definitely. And Unscrewed Marketing points out, it makes you a prime resource for the media. Journalists, podcast hosts, event planners, they actively seek out published authors.
Because the book acts as proof.
Exactly. It signals deep knowledge, a clear point of view. You become someone they want to interview or have on their stage.
So it's a catalyst for getting visibility, getting media hit.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And it solidifies your unique take. It becomes your signature thought piece. This is your definitive perspective.
Got it. Okay, strategy number 2. Generate leads and attract new clients. How does the book actively do that?
Right. It can't just sit there passively. This is where that integration really kicks in.
How so?
You build calls to action, or CTAs, right into the book itself.
Okay.
Guiding readers to your website, maybe a specific landing page for a free resource, a consultation sign-up, whatever makes sense.
Yeah.
It turns that reader into a warm lead.
So the book isn't the end of the journey, it's a doorway.
Exactly. It's a gateway. And you can use like a free chapter or a related checklist as a lead magnet on your site to capture emails. Plus, a really powerful tactic they mention is using physical copies in your actual sales process.
Oh, interesting. How?
Imagine sending a signed copy to a potential high-value client before your big meeting. Maybe you even flag a chapter that's super relevant to their challenges.
Wow, yeah. That adds serious weight. Establishes authority before you even speak.
Immense value. It really sets the stage. Okay, strategy 3. Grow your business through speaking and networking.
Right. You mentioned authors get invited to speak more.
They do. And critically, they're more likely to land paid speaking gigs. The book basically acts as your supercharged speaker proposal.
Shows you've got the chops and a defined topic.
Totally. And think about using the book at events, giving away copies at your conference booth, including it in a workshop package.
Yeah, that's way better than another pen. It's a high-value lead magnet right there.
Makes you incredibly memorable, right? You can also bundle it into VIP packages, masterminds, high-end coaching, or use signed copies to draw people to your booth and start real conversations.
Definitely elevates your whole presence. Okay, number 4. Build relationships and strengthen partnerships. How does a book help there?
Well, think about gifting copies, sending your book to key referral partners, affiliates, influencers you want to connect with.
It's a substantial, thoughtful gift.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It keeps you top of mind, reinforces your expertise in a non-salesy way. And unscrewed marketing highlights corporate deals too.
Corporate deals.
Yeah, companies often buy books in bulk for employee training, for client gifts, for onboarding new hires. It's a potential new revenue stream and a way to build deeper partnerships.
That's a whole other angle.
It is. And, having that book makes you way more attractive as a podcast guest or for media features. Hosts love having something concrete to discuss and promote.
Gives them something tangible to hook onto. Okay, strategy 5. Sell more of your other products and services.
This one's key. Your book introduces your ideas, your methods, your business philosophy without being a direct sales pitch.
Right. It provides value first.
Exactly. You establish trust and authority. So readers naturally become curious about your other offerings, courses, coaching, software, whatever it is. It leads to natural upsell.
It's like the ultimate content marketing piece.
Pretty much. And you can actively bundle it. Include a signed copy with your premium course or coaching program to boost the perceived value.
Nice.
And don't forget audio. Creating an audiobook version opens up a whole new audience segment. People who listen while commuting, exercising,
Yeah.
and you can still direct them back to your website and services.
Yeah, audio is huge, especially for busy professionals. Okay, strategy number 6. Use it as a long-term marketing asset. This sounds powerful.
This is where the strategic payoff really compounds over time. Your book is basically a goldmine of content.
How so?
Think about it. You can slice and dice chapters, concepts, quotes into months, maybe even years, worth of social media posts, blog articles, email newsletters, video scripts.
It's the gift that keeps on giving content-wise.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can easily repurpose sections into webinars or workshops. The structure, the core ideas, they're already there, already thought through.
Saves a ton of prep time.
For sure. Plus, submitting your book to industry book clubs or relevant business associations, that gets you targeted exposure.
And for outreach, cold emails, PR pitches. Sending a physical book makes you instantly stand out from the digital noise. It's a powerful way to cut through.
Yeah, much harder to ignore than an email.
Yeah.
Okay, finally, strategy 7. Leverage it for branding and business positioning.
Right. This is about how the book cements who you are in the market.
Your differentiation.
Exactly. In a crowded space, having a published book is a massive differentiator. It immediately sets you apart from competitors who haven't done it. Unscrewed Marketing even says you can use the book as your business card.
Huh. I like that. More memorable than a flimsy card, for sure.
Way more substantial, right. And it lets you control the narrative. You get to carefully craft and reinforce your brand's story, your core values, your unique approach.
You own that message. You do. So, when you look at all 7, authority, leads, speaking, partnerships, upselling, long-term content, and branding, you see how one book, done strategically, can touch almost every part of your business growth.
Yeah, it completely reframes it. It's not just, I wrote a book. It's, I built a strategic tool.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered the strategy, the why and the what. But the how is still a big question, right? Especially for entrepreneurs who want that control we talked about. This is where Unscrewed Publishing fits in.
That's right. Unscrewed Publishing is basically the implementation arm of Unscrewed Marketing's philosophy. It's their publishing division, specifically set up to help entrepreneurs self-publish strategically.
Okay.
The whole point is you keep control, and they help you execute in a way that actually enables those 7 growth strategies we just walked through.
And it's led by Vicky Wu, who has this really deep background.
She really does. It's quite impressive. She's the CEO, and she brings over 15 years from inside the publishing industry, plus more than 30 years in marketing. Yeah, her path is interesting. Started as a yearbook editor, worked at a newspaper, then an in-house publishing division for a big supplier, even an ad agency that published magazines.
So she's seen publishing from like every angle, editorial, corporate, agency.
Pretty much. And she's worked directly with tons of authors, co-authored books, edited, designed them. She's helped independent authors navigate the whole messy process.
And crucially, she gets the marketing side.
That's key. She knows how to actually market a book, leverage it. She even published her own Amazon bestseller in business, so she's walked the walk.
Okay, so she gets the mechanics and the strategy. What's the core promise of Unscrewed Publishing for entrepreneurs?
It really centers on empowerment, keeping full ownership. That means your content, your branding, and this is huge, 100% of your royalties.
100%.
Yep. Their whole thing is no gatekeepers, no middlemen skimming off the top of your sales.
That's a massive contrast to traditional publishing where, like the source says, control often gets taken away from the author.
Exactly. Traditional deals often mean signing away rights, getting a smaller cut of royalties, less say in cover design or marketing. Self-publishing with a partner like this keeps that control firmly in your hands.
Right. And they offer different levels of help, right? Service tiers.
Yeah, they have a few tiers to fit different needs and budgets.
And these cover different types of books.
Mostly, yeah. Business books, other nonfiction, even fiction, though they mentioned they do evaluate the subject matter. The goal is flexibility.
Makes sense. And what about getting the book out there? Distribution?
They focus on really broad distribution, making sure your book is available pretty much everywhere readers might look.
Like where specifically?
Okay, so for print, that's paperback and hardcover.
Yeah.
They use Amazon KDP, Ingram Spark.
Ingram Spark is key for bookstores and libraries, right?
Absolutely crucial. Many indies miss that. They also use Barnes & Noble Press. So major online retailers, plus the gateway to physical stores and libraries.
Okay, that covers print well. What about ebooks?
Same broad approach. Amazon Kindle, of course.
Yeah.
But importantly, without needing KDP select exclusivity.
Ah, so you can sell on other platforms too.
Exactly. So Barnes & Noble, Enof, Apple Books, Kobo Writing Life, Google Play Books, and they use Draft 2 Digital as well, specifically to get ebooks into library systems like Overdrive and Hoopla.
Wow. Okay. That's really comprehensive. Covers all the major digital bases and library access and audiobooks.
Listed as coming soon via ACX, which is Amazon's platform. That covers Audible, Amazon itself, and Apple's audiobook store, hitting the major audio listeners.
Good, good. So the distribution is solid. Let's circle back to royalties because you said 100%. How does that work logistically?
Right. So the ideal setup and what they encourage is for you to publish under your own accounts on platforms like KDP, Ingram Spark, etc.
Okay.
When you do that, all the sales revenue, minus the platform's printing or distribution fee, comes directly to you. Unscrewed Publishing doesn't touch it. You keep 100% of the net royalties.
That's incredibly appealing. Total control over the income stream.
It is. Now, they do recognize that managing all those different accounts can be, a hassle for some busy entrepreneurs.
Right. Setting up accounts, tax info everywhere.
Exactly. So they offer an option where they can handle the uploads and management through their publisher accounts.
Okay.
If you choose that route, they charge a 10% administrative fee off the top of the royalties received. You still get 90%, which is way better than most traditional deals. And they handle the back-end complexities.
So you trade a small percentage for convenience.
Now, for entrepreneurs who are maybe time-crunched or aren't natural writers but have deep expertise, they offer a really high-touch service, a done-for-you white-glove ghostwriting and publishing service.
Okay. White glove sounds like they handle pretty much everything. This is specifically for nonfiction business books.
That's right. It's tailored for capturing that business expertise. It starts right at the beginning. Content development.
Meaning?
They'll work with your existing materials, articles, presentations, course content, or they'll conduct research, interview you extensively, build outlines, then they handle the actual drafting and provide professional human editing.
So they essentially pull the book out of your head and your existing work.
Pretty much. You provide the raw knowledge and insights. They craft the manuscript. Then they manage the entire book production process.
Like cover design, formatting.
Yep. Custom professional cover design, expert interior formatting for both print and ebook so it looks polished, and optimizing all the metadata keywords, categories to help readers find it online.
Okay, so writing, design, formatting, what else?
Full publishing and distribution management. They handle setting it all up and getting it live on Amazon, Ingram, Spark, B&N, Apple, Kobo, Google Play, the whole network we talked about.
Wow. And marketing. Do they help launch it?
They include marketing and launch support components too. Things like researching the best Amazon categories to target for bestseller potential.
Strategic category selection.
Right. Crafting your author bio and a compelling book description. Providing a professional press release and a media kit you can use for outreach. And creating social media graphics to announce the launch.
Okay, that package sounds incredibly comprehensive for a busy expert who wants a book but can't do it all themselves. So wrapping up this part, why choose Unscrewed Publishing specifically? What's the elevator pitch?
It really comes down to their core value prop. You keep your royalties and maintain full control. You get professional service that's tailored, not cookie cutter. You benefit from Vicky Wu's decades of experience in both publishing and marketing.
That experience blend is key.
And you get strategic, long-term support focused on making that book a genuine business asset, not just a one-off project.
So it's publishing designed for the strategic entrepreneur.
Exactly. It's built to actually enable those 7 growth strategies we discussed earlier, making sure the how of publishing aligns with the why.
Okay. Let's bring this all back home for you, our listener. This deep dive, drawing on everything from unscrewed marketing and unscrewed publishing, it really highlights a fundamental truth, doesn't it?
It really does.
A book can be an incredibly powerful, super valuable asset for your business, but, and it's a big but,
Only if you approach it strategically. Only if you build it on that clear, deliberate plan that you define before you even start writing.
that strategy piece is non-negotiable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the good news is actually bringing that strategic book into the world doesn't have to be this overwhelming nightmare.
Yeah.
Or giving up control or your hard-earned royalties.
Yeah.
Resources like Unscrewed Publishing exist specifically to provide that professional scaffolding, that support, to make it happen effectively and align with your business goals. It lets you focus on using the book, not just making it.
Yeah, this whole discussion really reframes the idea of authorship for entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
It stops being just a project and becomes like a piece of strategic business infrastructure.
Well put.
The key takeaway, loud and clear from these sources, is that strategy has to come first. Foundation first, then build the house.
Definitely. And maybe here's a final thought to chew on.
Okay.
If you start thinking of your book not as a one-time launch event, but as a long-term marketing asset, something that fuels leads, content, partnerships, branding for years.
Mm-hmm.
How does that fundamentally change how you approach building your business, how you connect with your audience, how you generate opportunities, not just this quarter, but 5 years from now?
That perspective shift.
Right.
Thinking long-term asset instead of short-term project.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
That strategic potential, leveraging a book over the long haul, that's definitely something worth reflecting on for your own business.
A few months from now, you're either going to be relieved that you fixed your marketing or regretting that you didn't. The guesswork, the wasted budget, the missed leads, it doesn't have to keep happening. Grab your 360-degree marketing assessment now at unscrewedmarketing.com and let's get you a strategy that actually works before you lose more time chasing tactics that don't.